Well, joined in studio now by two executives from the company OriginOil. OOIL is their stock symbol. As always, we have the CEO, Mr. Riggs Eckelberry. Riggs, always good to see you.
And you too, Don.
And we have the new head of licensing, Alex Leshnick. That's a great title. It's a long title for a business card, but it is a great title. Tell us about your job duties there.
So I'm responsible for executing licensing agreements, for OriginOil. As we prove our technology in the field, more companies are asking us, can I take a license to this technology? So I'm going to be the one facilitating those kind of agreements.
Now, I imagine you're pretty busy right now because every time Riggs has come in here the last several months, we've found yet a new application for your technology. I mean, your phone's probably ringing off the hook.
I mean, there are several companies that have approached us already, and we're, hoping to keep the pipeline stocked of deals. And, as we get into these new industries, we hope that the opportunities, continue to abound.
Now, one of these things, Riggs, that we've talked about, one of these applications, of course, is cleaning frack water, and that's a big issue right now. You recently went up to the Bakersfield, Lost Hills area to demonstrate this. How did that go?
Well, yeah, and before we move on to that, I wanted to make it clear that a big part of Alex's charge here is to take all these new opportunities, which have the very real danger of defocusing the company, and put them in a location where the next step is, okay, you're excited about this in your industry, let's license you because we're not going to learn yet another field of use. And that's really why Alex, who has exported about 150 technologies in his past career at the University of Southern California, he has really driven that kind of massive licensing activity in multiple industries, and that's what we need to have happen. Now, on the frac side, that's going to be our very strong focus to develop deeply. It's servicing the largest industry in the world, and it's growing at compound rates. The entire United States energy growth is relying on this. So, as you know, we're going to Texas.
Yes.
We wanted to have a dry run, and so we went up to Lost Hills, where you've worked before, at an affiliate. And sure enough, we tested it out. I expected to have multiple trips to Lost Hills. We had one. In the slideshow I'm going to show you right now, we've got the equipment being unpacked. There's a mobile trailer with a lot of capacity and a much smaller rolling cart that comes out that we could leave on site. We tried out both of them. First time out of the blocks, worked great. Great separation of the oil and the water.
Now, the people you were showing this to, I mean, what must have been their reaction? What were they saying to you after the demonstration?
Well, looks like you got something there, which is high praise.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Now, so as you said, we've talked a few times in the last several weeks going on the road. You're heading over to Texas. You're heading over to the Eagle Ford Trend, which is one of the largest oil operations in the world. Is this more demonstrations? Are you beginning to get into licensing discussions over there? What's happening in Texas?
Well, of course, the oil industry is very much about show me, and seconds matter. They don't want to take oil fields down. They don't want to do harm. They have a thriving business already. So in San Antonio, we'll be located at a drilling site that's hosting us, and then companies will come take a look at us doing it in live. And then in Houston, we'll be doing parking lot demos with equipment on board that the media can actually see.
Well, of course, fracking has been somewhat of a minor controversy. I mean, there are some states, like the state of New York, for example, where they've had like a 4 or 5 year moratorium on permitting for fracking. So if you are able to prove that you can significantly clean up the frack water, I mean, that just opens tremendous doors for you, I would have to imagine.
Yeah, and by the way, New York has begun, as I predicted last year. So I think inevitably the pressure of having to pay all those pensions is going to get people into the fracking business. And so we're dealing with, making something really fairly harmful less so. So we're really in the mitigation business, and I like to call this century the mitigation century. We're going to be making problems less, and that's true in all these fields, but especially in the frack water cleanup.
Alex, when you're speaking to a potential licensee, let's talk about the frack water cleanup part of the company. What are some of the more oft-asked questions that you're answering?
I mean, people want to know, has the technology been proven? They want to know where have you guys done your demos? Who are your contacts in the industry? How can I talk to someone who's validated your technology? And the person I always point to is our partner at Pace. They're the ones that brought us this opportunity to begin with. They're the ones that did our detailed engineering work on our algae systems that we scaled up and brought to Australia. And they're the ones that I think really are going to, at least in the beginning phases, help us really get into the market with the integrated Pearl OriginOil system. You know, we wouldn't be in this position if it wasn't for them. And I think that they're the ones that have done the analysis on our technology and have really shown that it's really a game changer.
I would have to think, after what you've done here in Lost Hills area and what you're about to do in Texas, if you have the same kind of results, the answer to that question is going to be quite easy.
I think so. And, you know, based on our feedback we got from the operators at the exploration site, you know, they said, I've never, you know, I've been in the oil industry for 40 years and I've never seen something like this. So that really shows me that, you know, the people who are really on the ground doing the day-to-day operations, they need technology like this. And they're going to come to companies like ours to find solutions to their big problems.
When you are in Texas, Riggs, I would have to expect we're going to get another Hollywood production video presentation so we can see the success you had down there.
It's going to be ongoing with sort of MTV on the road kind of style. We're going to have every little bit. Starting next week, we'll have a video of the whole Lost Hills experiment.
OriginOil, OOIL is their stock symbol, and as I always say, the story's about to get even more exciting. Guys, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Don.